All right, hello y'all. So today I'm gonna walk you through some of the basics that I think would help with the case, commercial banking case competitions. So I would say here's are some of the topics I think you guys should know about, and that is first, we're gonna talk about inputting the three financial statements uh, data into your Excel sheet. Even though that we have a provided Excel sheet from Professor Dawson, I would preferably create my own version first. I think it's easier, less complicated, and it's just easier for me. So when you are looking at how can you find the three financial statements, right? So first, I would go to searching for Oceaneering International because that's the company we're looking at. You will go there, scrolling, finding the investor relations. After you get investor relations, you could scroll down, financial result. Here, you would go to the 10K, and if you hit on that, it gives you the December 31st, 2024. That how you get the sort of 10K quarter four is similar as the annual report. However, if you want to get more data, let's say you want a data on 2023, then you would go to view all reports. And here you could see you could go to 2023, and then you could get the Q4 of 2023 over that way. All right, back to the point. How can you find the three financial statements? So very easily, you scroll down a little bit, and here it show all the items that we have. For this case study, I would say that you don't have to read every single item in here. I would say first, you want to focus on reading the business and the risk factors. Why is it important? It's important is because let's say you hit on the business. This is going to be general development of the business. So what does it has? Here they bolded some of the item: energy, subsea robotics. So that is their business. Their business is energy, subsea robotics. Uh, and then you would go to risk factor, and you would see in the risk factor there is business and operational risk. So usually I would focus on the bolded item here, and then just start reading. Uh, and really, when you start reading about these business and risk factors, that how you could fill out your kind of presentation where you talk about the business of a company. You're gonna have such and such bullet points, and then you also have a slide about the risks associated with the company. So I say um, that is how I would read about this case study. Uh, also, so now I'm gonna hit the point where do you find the financial statements. Back to the point. So right here you can see item 8, financial statement and supplemental data. You click on it. Okay, once you click on it, probably you have to scroll down a little bit. All right, every time. Okay, it's actually you have to scroll down quite a bit. But every time you see something that is like the whole page like this and with like colorful and something that's similar to this, um, that is where you know that you find the correct spot. So this instance is on page 60, so you guys could type page 60 in. So this is a balance sheet. So as you know, that is the first of three type of the financial statements. What is the next one? The next one is called consolidated statement of operations. This is AKA income statements. And then what? And then you don't have to focus on this one in this case study. Is you want to look at the statement of cash flows. So that is how you find the 3 financial statements: the balance sheet, the income statement, and the cash flow statements. All right, and that's how you find it. But what is the next task? The next task is for you to input all these data into your Excel, and here I'll have an example for you. So this is my Excel file. I create the first one is income statement, the second one is the balance sheet, and the next one is the cash flow statement. This is just straight up copy from these that I have here. So let's say for the income statement, right? Here's my income statement for 2022. So you see it start with 2,066,084, right? But down here, why do I have this thing as a red? It is because it is the cost of goods sold, and you see, in order to find the gross margin, right, you have to subtract the revenue from the cost of goods sold. So it just basically means that I take this, I subtract this, and then you see in the gross margin, I make I add up using the sum function to add up these two to get to this. You don't have to do it this way like me. You could just you can copy everything, but I recommend you knowing why you get into the gross margin of 2022, for example. Why these two subtract lead to this. I think it's just good general that you know why it's there. All right, but for some of y'all, how do you even know that how to come up with this number 307,377, right? So very easily, if you see any dash line, anything below the dash line just means something being added up. So for instance, this right here, 110,863, you know that they must have done something before it that lead to that. So in this case, they are subtracting it out. And also, you could just Google how to find gross margin, right? You could just go how find gross margin, and yeah, and let's see, subtract the cost of goods sold from total revenue. Well, all right. Don't look at how they divide by that. It's a different thing. But I said just keep it simple. Right now is you just need to subtract these two. You just need to subtract these two that lead to gross margin. All right. Then let's say all right, I would say why is the 3 financial statements important? So the income statement is showing the profit of a company. The balance sheet showing the structure of a company. And what I mean by structure is how much do the company own and how much do company owed. So asset, right? You can see they own that asset, but then it's when it comes to liability, they are borrowing, right? So later on, you will see kind of why it's important with the balance sheet. All right, on to the cash flow statements. When it comes to cash flow statements, it's focusing on cash. And amazingly, how cash flow statement is computed by using the balance sheet and the income statement. For now, just keep it very simple. I will have a different videos go in depth, but for now, I say you might just want to copy this and don't really want to focus so much time on this. All right, back to the Excel. Let me see. So that we covered the first point. Now come to the second point. Is after you finishing inputting financial statements, then what do you do next? The next thing is using the concept of spreading the number. That is the first thing, and then the concept of percentage total. And what does it mean? This is when you're starting to have a more analytical, hands-on doing, right? So let's say, how do you find the percentage change? So let's say this is the revenue. This is the revenue. How do you find the change that it changed from 2022 to 2023? The way that you're gonna do it is you're gonna take 2023, subtract by 2022, and divide by 2022. Very simple. How can you find the change over time? Let me see. Well, kinda 1 second. All right, it shouldn't be this complicated, but I'm using this equation. Nah, that's not a good one. Change over time. First, subtract earlier index value from the later one. Then divide that difference by the earlier index value. Okay. Well, first subtract the earlier index. Okay. So this just means that you're gonna take what? You're gonna take 2023, which is this cell, minus what? This cell. Wait, and then remember to put it into parentheses so you can divide by what? You're gonna divide by this cell. So when I say a cell, it just means that the here is the B, here's the 2, here's the B. So it just means that this cell right here is B2. Don't overcomplicate. Let's see. Divide by B2. That's it. This is the percentage change. And if you change it to percentage, so you see from 2022 to 2033, it's increased by 17%. Percentage change, right? From 2022 to 2023. So, and then you're gonna do that for the whole down column right here. And how do you do it? Because this is in the form of formula. If you drag it down, it just take like, for instance, this one. So it just, instead of using the cell up here, it's become the cell down here. So you see, very interested, right? Because the net income increased by a lot compare. So why is it, right? Maybe that is something you want to put in analysis, you want to put in your PowerPoint explaining why there's an increase over time and why that much. And you're gonna do that basically for the same for 2023 to 2024. All right, so that's the first concept of percentage change. Then here's the concept of percentage of total. So percentage of total. And so let's say you, in the income statement, when we're using the percentage of total kind of concepts, you want to take everything as a percentage of revenue. And what does that mean by that? So let's say the first cell right here is I want to take this and divide it by itself. because I want everything down here to be divided by revenue, because that is the percentage of revenue. When I have this F2, I would put F4. I would click F4 and have these two $ between the F2. Why is it? Because I'm going to show you here. Because if you drag it down, you would see that it's you would see that the F2 stay fixed divided by, so let's say down here, right? You see the F2 is fixed, so the $ just mean that it's gonna fix divided by the revenue up here. The F13 is still down here divided by the revenue up here. So you see net income of 2024, percentage change total of 2024. It's gonna be 5% of the total sale. So revenue is just mean total sale, right? Total sale. You see that net income is 5% of the total revenue. Okay, and it's devised to you to see if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Remember that you could find percentage total for every year, and you could do analysis on how that change means. But I usually would just do the percentage change for different years and do the percentage total for the last year. I don't want to overcomplicate myself. I could, but for the sake of simplicity, I usually just find percentage total for the last year, just to see the structure. And what do I mean by structure? You see that 5% of net income is coming from the total revenue, and then for the cost of goods sold, 81% of the cost of goods sold is going to that total sale. If you have questions, let me know, and then I'll create different videos explaining it in more depth. However, let's say you're gonna do that. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do the percentage change concept and the percentage total for the balance sheet as well. For the cash flow statement, you could only do the change. You cannot really do the percentage total. And so let's practice on the balance sheet. So let's say on the balance sheet, here, interesting part, I'll show you. Let's do a practice real quick. Percentage change from 22 to 23. And like I said, it's gonna be the 2023 minus 2022 divided by 2022. Am I right? I think I'm right. It just needs a little bit more. So you see that it shouldn't be $, it shouldn't be percentage. So you see that over time it's decreasing. There's no value here. Okay, so you see the cash and cash. So cash account, what does it mean when it's go down? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? You have to do analysis on that. This account, is it increasing? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? And so you're gonna do that the same for your liability as well and equity as well. All right, when it's come to percentage total, let's practice. Percentage total is a little bit tricky. For this one, you want to take everything and then divide it by total asset. Let me do it real quick. So you're going to want to take this And then, like I said, you're gonna hit the total asset down here, but hit the F4 button, and then that will give you this dollar sign, and then just drag it down. So you see, let me see, boop boop. Okay, so you see, like I said, when you do percentage total, it gives you the structure of it give you a structure. So you see, the total current asset is around 60%. That's based on you to see whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Their equipment is well, right here, it's you it's a little bit tricky, but it just means that property less accumulated depreciation. You want to focus on just the net property and equipment, which is only 18% of it is in fixed equipment, which means in like buildings, in warehouse, right? Um, it's only 18%. So is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? They have a lot of cash on hand. They have a lot of they have inventory, and they also have a lot of account receivable. If you don't understand what is account receivable, uh, go online. Just go ask ChatGPT, and that's how you learn. Um, all right, but for the liability, you want to divide everything by total liability, and then down here equity, you want to divide everything under the equity section to the my apologize. You want to divide everything by the total liability in equity. And that's gonna give you the percentage total. All right. And like I said, onto cash flow statement, you can only just do the percentage change. Okay. So that we cover the second point. Come to the next point is the financial ratios. When it's come to financial ratios, let me give you the example. Okay, let me see. Okay, so when it's come to financial ratio, this is the financial ratio that commonly used. I would provide it to you guys, but if for the meantime you guys can just copy this, I'll just scroll down very slowly so you guys can kind of see it. Yeah. And so let me copy over here. And so you see, here's the equation to find. So for example, current ratio is equal to current asset divided by current liability. So that you're gonna create for 2020 for a few years, right? Remember, we have to create 5 years data. However, for simplicity and for my own purpose, I only create 3. But you guys should create 5. So let's say you don't know where is current liability asset and current liability is it on balance sheet or is it on income statement? I would say go ask ChatGPT, right? Ask where can I find current ratios, where can I find current asset, where can I find current liabilities. I would say everything is in the income statement and the balance sheet. It's not going to be on the cash flow statement. Anything that related to revenues, it's going to be on the anything related to revenue going to be income statement, and anything related to other thing is on the balance sheet. All right, and so let's say, for instance, I just give an example, right? If the current ratio, if I divide it by, okay, I'll make an example. First one, let's say current asset. I will go to here for, let's say, for 2022. You see current asset, and then this is the amount for 2022. I hit that, and I go up here. Again, I hit divide by what? By total current liability. You see right here for 2022. All right, that's the amount. If you divide, it gives this amount. I'm gonna give you guys why is it interesting and why do you want to compute a, so divide, I just said divide 2023, you see right here total current liability. You see, let's see, balance sheet, no, balance sheet total current asset divided by, I hit the divided already here, y'all. 2024 total, well, not total liability, it's have to be up here, total current liability, right? And then you see it's going down over time. So is it a good thing or a bad thing, right? You want to ask that questions, and maybe if it's not a good thing, then that's maybe the reason why you want to put into your section here. So first, you're gonna have the income statement analysis kind of sections, right? And then what? And then you're gonna have like balance sheet analysis, right? And then what? And then you have cash flows analysis, right? And then you're gonna have financial statement, financial ratios analysis. Okay. And then maybe because here it's going down, maybe it's a bad thing, and then maybe that is why you want to put it here. You're gonna say something. It's going down, so it is not a good sign. And then that maybe that is the way that you want to go with your recommendations of not participate in giving out this loan to companies. So I say computing these ratios and see the trends over time. And remember, you could always find percentage change year over year, right? But once again, one last tip I want to give you guys is that, let's say, don't focus. So let's say right here, this other income expense, even though it's increasing by 22%, however, do you see that as a percentage of total, which is, let's say, other income or expense only contribute 0.13% to the total revenue. Remember the percentage total concept, right? It's only contribute this small amount. So don't focus the whole energy on this, explaining this, because you see, even though it's increasing by 20%, it is so small that you don't even want to look at it. But let's say over here, this is 81%. This is 80. Let me just copy this for here over this. So you see this is the unique part about Excel, is that you could copy this cell and paste it here. And because the position of things is setting up the same way as how it's set up here, the function is bringing over. So you see this one is contribute 81%. So maybe this 7.4% change is meaning something, right? Maybe it's something. And also the also revenue over here, it's huge. It's like a huge part. So is it increased a huge thing or not? Uh, right here, 5%. Um, if it's increasing, is it a huge thing? Is it a big thing or really not? I would say anything that is around like above 5%. So this is important. Anything above 5% is usually a good sign that is matter. Remember, cash on the balance sheet, 22%, 21%. Very huge, play a huge part. Total current asset, 60%, very important. So if you see the change, 18% over time of cash, that must mean something big. So focus on the thing that is large. So let's say all the current asset, only 3%. You don't really want to explaining that. Yeah. So last things is the working capital. I just touched very briefly. I will create a different videos where I go in depth and explaining working capital. But for now, just keep it very simple. It just means that what is the money that you need for your operations, and operation is kind of like 1 month, usually on a monthly basis of operations. So how do you find that? The basic way is you go to your balance sheet and you take total current asset. So let's say for 2022, right? I would say 2022, like that, 2022. Oh gosh, my bad. So let's say 2022, and you want to get the total current asset, subtract the total current liability, which is over here. And do you see this? They have their working capital is they cover their current asset, cover the total of their current liability, which is a good sign. And this number um, is a simplest way of saying working capital. So theoretically, you need this amount to operate. Well, my apologize. I'll touching on it in more detail, but for now, just know that that is the simplest way to find working capital, and it just means that if total current asset is much bigger than total current liability, it just means it's a good sign because now you are operating. Uh, um, because now you cover. So current asset is your asset that is in the short term, which is in 1 year, within 1 year. And then current liability is anything that you owe and you have to pay in that 1 year. And imagine your asset cover that 1 year liabilities. It just means you are better off. And with that, I said, remember to do a readings because that is the best way for you to fill out a lot of information, let's say about the business and how you operate and the risk, right? And so yeah, let's start. One last comment: you want to let everyone kind of be involved in the process of the Excel because doing that just make everyone so confident. Uh, and so yeah, there's 5 years. So just take turn inputting the numbers and doing some work. All right. Thank you, y'all, and let me know if you have questions.